what is your thoughts about the entrepreneurial scene in Saudi? Is it a good place to come and start your own business?
To be honest, I think now it's great, especially for the locals, and it's opening up for foreigners to come in. But I think for the locals, there's a lot more opportunity now. A lot of the younger Saudis are kind of doing their own thing, and to be honest, a lot of the entrepreneurs are women in Saudi at the moment, so it's really, for me, I love it. And I wouldn't say it's something we didn't have, but it's something that was more limited when I was younger, so I think now the way it's opened up, I think it's fantastic. I love it.
Welcome back to another Impression Pod. Today we're doing it in English, and we have Sultan with us from Saudi. 36 years, co-founder of the clothing brand Galag, director of Al Maha Films, and one of the pioneers of Team Galag and the Snow Tour. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. And an all-around good guy. Could you tell us a little bit about how you get into entrepreneurship and starting off the clothing brand Galag?
I don't know about getting into entrepreneurship, but starting the clothing brand Galag, I think it goes hand in hand, but starting the clothing brand kind of happened by necessity.
Yeah.
Because we did Team Galag on Gumball, and then sort of the account grew, more people knew us. So what we used to do is we used to create T-shirts, and sort of like 1,000 T-shirts, something like that. And on every tour, we'd hand them out to people who were waiting on the grid.
For free?
For free, yeah.
Yeah.
So, because, the Gumball's full of celebrities and all that, and we might have the crazy cars, but we don't have the person that people know.
Yeah.
And also we felt like if you're waiting there for hours, wouldn't it be nice to take something back, like that's tangible rather than a photo of the car or whatever it is? So we just did it. We did it for 3 years. And then people started emailing us, messaging us, oh, where can I buy this? Where can I buy this? Where can I? So like, okay, maybe let's explore this. Let's do a few T-shirts. Let's do a hoodie. So we started doing that to sell when we did our first snow tour.
Yeah.
And then that sold out. The second snow tour. That sold out. So like, okay, maybe there's something there. Then we decided to make it into a clothing brand.
Yeah.
And from there, actual collections that have a narrative, and then eventually it starts to operate separate to the trips, where it becomes its own thing.
Yeah, because now the tours are once a year, but the clothing line also, it has about 100K followers on Instagram, so it's pretty internationally known.
The clothing, not 100K. The clothing has like 15K.
Yeah, okay.
The Instagram account for the main account has 100K.
Yeah, but it supports building the brand.
Yes.
With the clothes and everything.
Yes. So for us, because also we only do one trip a year and we don't do a lot more, the clothing has to operate on its own.
Yeah.
It has to operate separate to the trips and to the cars. So that was the big thing that we needed to do. Rather than us having to do things to market it, the clothing has to market itself.
Yeah.
And then when they intersect, when there's a trip or tour or something like that, then it can help market it. But other than that, they operate separately.
Yeah. So in the beginning, it's sort of like a giveaway and something to build the brand and everything. But eventually, as it evolves, what is the brand philosophy of the brand?
Well, it took us a while to figure out that brand philosophy because it was created almost unintentionally. I was never like, oh, I want to create a clothing brand. I never studied fashion. I never went into that. Everything I learned is by doing. And, I learned and I did things that failed within the brand, and I learned and I keep fixing those mistakes. So I think we only started learning the philosophy like 4 years into doing the brand. And that was strange. And that was what was strange. It's like 4 years into it, I started figuring out the brand.
Yeah.
And it was more like it has to do with, we brought it back to the automotive sort of experience. We figured there's not many clothing brands that caters in a very, and I don't know how to say it, like not fashionable way, but like we're giving that street fashion, that focusing completely on the automotive. There are a few people like Lytter Automotive, there's all these people, but also those are built off of personalities. Like Arthur Carr, he's the guy for Lytter Automotive, and he created the brand. And so for us, it was that. It was, we keep the connection with cars. It's more about exploration. It's more about sort of the freedom of it. It's because that's what our trips are. It's
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it's a lifestyle because that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
So we hope we create the clothes and people incorporate it to their own lifestyle rather than wanting to emulate our lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the philosophy within it.
Interesting. What would you say is your biggest market right now?
I say it's actually Scandinavia and Saudi.
Yeah.
Those two. Saudi because we're in physical stores. Scandinavia because of our snow tours.
Yeah.
I think those two are our biggest markets. The UK, sometimes we get a few orders from Asia, America, but it's mainly Saudi and Scandinavia.
Yeah. So do you also ship to America?
Yes, we ship worldwide actually.
Yeah.
So we ship out of England.
Okay. Nice. Do you want to get into physical stores in Scandinavia or other places?
I mean,
or?
of course. You know, being in physical stores in other places introduces us to other people because, okay, I can market as much online.
Yeah.
But if people don't see the stuff physically, I always think our clothing looks better in person than it does in pictures.
Yep.
And also, you want to be next to other brands that they know, then they can compare, and then it's up to my brand to convince them to buy me and not the next one. So it keeps it more interesting, and of course, being in physical stores just opens it to many more people.
Yeah.
And definitely Scandinavia, since it's one of our biggest markets, I would love to have it there.
Yeah. Probably gonna come anytime soon. So in fashion, you have we see all these fashion shows and the showings and everything. What is some things you think that people in the fashion industry get wrong?
I think that you need the approval of the fashion industry.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of brands, especially in Saudi, startup brands, they put more emphasis in being recognized by magazines like Vogue, GQ, and these kind of things, more than what translates into sales and keeping the business going. Because you have to keep the business going to keep the brand going. We've been in these magazines.
Yeah.
They did not add to sales. People, like our customer base...
They did not add to sales?
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, not even... It didn't add to Instagram followings. It didn't add to all these. You know, they're great to have.
Yeah.
But it's not... It doesn't have the influence over our market, our customer base. Maybe it does for other people, but for the people that buy us and the type of person that buys us, it doesn't affect that. So once that happened, we shifted focus direct to customer. So and plus, there's no right way of doing it. You don't have to study fashion. You don't have to do that. And I know, you know, people say, "Oh, don't go to school." If your passion is that and learning about fashion, it's good to go and study it. But if you can still create a brand and figure it out on the go as well. So there's no right or wrong way. Just kind of do it and see what happens.
Yeah. Talk about the design process. You started doing this the first Galag tour. Are we talking 2017?
Yeah, the first snow tour was 2017.
Yeah, so we're 7 years in the making already then on the clothing brand. How do you work with the design and figure out designs?
So it's a team. It's 3 of us. Now there's 5 of us, and we have a WhatsApp group chat. Mm-hmm. So essentially, we talk about concepts, ideas, like what's the theme of the collection or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we sort of sleep on it for like a week or 2, gather inspiration, and we just start sending inspirations together. And from there, it forms by itself. So we have one of the guys, Alec, who's very good at. He's a graphic designer and he's very good at this. So he's the one that does the designs and the designing, and then we all keep having our input until it fully comes together. Yeah. And then from there we sample and all that. But it's generally from WhatsApp group chat for like a few weeks, and then we go through with it.
That's like a hype in Norway now. If you can't run your business on a WhatsApp group, the business is not lean enough.
Yeah, I mean we do it because we live in different places. Like they live in Madrid, I live in Saudi, so there's not. Yeah. We don't there's no point of not having it.
Oh, where do you produce the clothes?
So it depends. We produce in China some of the clothes. We produce some in LA and we produce some in Portugal, depending on what's necessary and what we're able to do.
Yeah.
But the one thing that we keep consistent is the quality. Whether we produce here, whether we produce there. While China, for us, they're more open to doing sort of more elaborate things.
Yeah.
But we'd have to really be on them to get it right. Like we have to sample a few times. But then you have in LA where they do the basics really correctly. And so we focus that over there. You know, if our t-shirts, our hoodies, or stuff that's more simple, we do it there. Portugal, if we want to do sneakers or specialized kind of items like knitwear and stuff like that. So it's by necessity, but it's those three main places. Okay,
cool. So in Norway, there's a big trend of going with cashmere these days.
Well, you need to be warm.
Yeah, it needs to be warm. But our mutual friend Andreas, he loves cashmere. Are you guys thinking about getting into cashmere?
And we always keep it open for a lot of things. You know, we always, with every collection, we try to add something new. Whether it's a new material, new type of clothing, new type of cut. So we keep it open, but it's like it's sort of, if it doesn't come naturally to us, we won't force it. Yeah. And I think, you know, but cashmere is good, but getting it right is difficult.
Yeah, I agree. So you maybe don't see yourself as an entrepreneur, but
I just think that word is very kind of vague. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's like, okay, I do the brand Galag and all that, but just like as a blanket statement, it's a bit it's a bit vague. So I'm like, I think it's just recently, the more you hear it, the more you're like,
yeah. I can see that. But what is your thoughts about the entrepreneurial scene in Saudi? Is it a good place to come and start your own business?
You know, to be honest, I think now it's great, especially for you know, for the locals at the moment, and it's opening up for foreigners to come in. But I think for the locals, there's a lot more opportunity now. A lot of the younger Saudis are kind of doing their own thing, you know, and to be honest, a lot of the entrepreneurs are women in Saudi at the moment, you know. So it's cool. It's really, you know, for me, I love it. I love seeing it because it's something, and I wouldn't say it's something we didn't have, but it's something that was more limited when I was younger. Yeah. You know, so I think now the way it's opened up, I think it's fantastic. I love it personally because also, you know, it helps me support local. You know, when I have more entrepreneurs coming up with more products, I can put more into supporting that. So I love it.
Yeah, in Norway we had in the 70s we found the oil and everything, so it's gotten a big business, you know, through the oil. But what it creates when there's massive growth, if you can call it that, is a lot of supporting companies that is startups or whatever you want to call it. So I might think that that also with Saudi it's a lot of growth. As we can see, and that will probably create a lot of startup opportunities at the least. Let's talk about marketing. You do mostly social media, right?
Yeah.
Do you do paid ads or how do you?
Well, paid ads don't work as much as, unless you pump so much into it that it becomes unrealistic that you're never going to make your money back. Yeah. For me, the best marketing is word of mouth. Yeah. So we focus a lot on the actual pieces. You know, we put a lot of hidden details and stuff like that because I like when I see something, when I buy something, I'm like, oh, I didn't notice this was there, and it's really cool to me. And then you naturally start recommending it to other people, and word of mouth is the best marketing. I do social media. I try to keep the content interesting, varied. I try to keep it, you know, consistent in terms of trying to capture the theme of what we're trying to do. Yeah. While not being too much. You know, sometimes when you post too much, people get annoyed, you know, but then you have to keep posting for them to remember you. So mainly social media. Paid ads, they don't work as much. Maybe they'll get you followers, but they don't get you sales. That's what we notice, at least for us. Yeah. Maybe, you know, we need to create specific products for that to work, but it's not. It hasn't worked for us. Oh. So we try to keep it a lot. It happened a lot word of mouth, and there was a long time where, you know, when you have a fashion brand, you're like, oh, people normally you want them to post so we can repost, see it out there.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I wasn't seeing that with Galag. Like I realized, why is no one posting? Then I see the sales from the stores. No, we're selling out and we're selling. So people are buying the stuff.
Yeah.
But they're not posting it. But then I was like, it was kind of frustrating for a while. But then I was thought, no, wait. If they're buying it, why does it matter if they're posting it? Yeah. It's doing well.
Yeah.
So I had to reconcile that and be like, okay, maybe the brand isn't for Instagram, but the brand is for people who are actually wearing it, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like sort of like old school.
Yeah, which I kind of like it. People gatekeeping the brand.
Yeah,
so it's cool.
So, looking ahead, what are some long-term goals you have for Galag?
Well, for me, I want consistency in terms of my timeline. I mean, that's the short term, but long term, I just want it to grow, to be honest. I just want it to grow, and we use Galag as well to support local sort of communities like skaters and kind of the street art and those kind of communities. But I'd love that to be the long term, the brand to be that as well for other people, to platform people as well, artists, stuff like that. Once we grow enough for that platforming to have value. Because if I platform people now, I'm like, our following isn't that big, like, relatively to other people, so it's not gonna help them or help us. Yep. So we have to grow to help other people grow in that sense. And I'm not really not passionate, but like because it didn't start from us, it kind of happened. I haven't thought of the long-term goal. I'm kind of just doing it as I go along.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a liberating way of operating as well, I think.
Kind of, but also you don't know where you're going.
Oh.
So you kind of want to have at least a heading.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Very interesting. Sultan, thanks for speaking with us. And it's very cool to see Andreas gets clothes in the mail from you. And I see...
And he wears them. And I thank him all the time. The fact that he reposts them, it's really cool. I never... And in all honesty, I never send... When I gift clothing...
Yeah.
I never send it with the intention of wanting the person like, you have to post it if we send it. For me, I look at it, I have to make it good enough for that person to want to post it.
Yeah.
To feel good in it, I want to post it. So that's at least my challenge in that. So Andreas, don't feel like you're ever obligated.
I love it though.
So,
I get so much compliments in Oslo from it.
So it's amazing, So it's I just, the fact that if people like it, if people buy it, that's all that matters to me. When I gift for people that I know, certain people that will wear it. Yeah. All the time. So I'm like, okay, that suits them. Let me gift it to them. And it is a part of it. It is if people see Andreas wearing it. Yeah. They will. It's like, oh, he's wearing it. He's actually wearing it, and it's not like, oh, I'll wear it, post it, and then never wear it again. Yeah. And that's the idea.
I understand. Well, that's cool. Sultan, thanks for taking the time out to speak with us, and we just wish you all the best and all the best luck with all the clothing and all you're doing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Amazing.
It's 17 minutes.